Far away in the land of Hyrule there was a forest called the Lost Woods. Deep in the forest stood the great Deku Tree, a wise old tree that towered above all others. It was the guardian of the forest and stood watch over the Kokiri, a tribe of children that never grew up and lived in a little village around his roots. The Deku Tree knew powerful magic and many old secrets, and he used them to protect the Kokiri from all the monsters and evils that lived deep within the Lost Woods. But one day, the Deku Tree felt an evil presence in the forest. From far away in the desert, a sorcerer named Ganondorf was reaching out to the Deku Tree with a foul spell to threaten him. "I have heard legends that you know ancient magic and protect a great treasure. Tell me your secrets and give me your treasures, or I will cast a death curse on you." "And what makes you think you deserve to know my secrets and have my treasure?" the Deku Tree asked. "Because I will use them to do great things. Such power is wasted on a stump like you. Watch," Ganondorf said, casting a spell on a spider in the branches of the Deku Tree. The spider grew to tremendous size and spread out a single huge eyeball in the middle of its face that stared at the great Deku Tree hatefully. "Do you see my power now? Turn over your treasures, or I will have Gohma dig them out of you." "Are those the only tricks you have? Making monsters and making threats? I know of far greater powers that can best yours easily." "Then show me these powers. Gohma, dig his treasure out of him." The giant one-eyed spider began to dig down into the great Deku Tree's roots. As the spider dug, the Deku Tree sent one of his fairies to the Kokiri, and Ganondorf laughed when he saw who the fairy had brought. "A boy with a wooden shield and a sword? That is the mightiest champion your magic could summon?" But the Deku Tree ignored Ganondorf and spoke to the boy named Link, dressed in a green tunic with a long green cap and a sword and shield hanging from his back. "An evil man from the desert has set a terrible monster on me. Do you have the courage to slay this beast and free me from his curse?" Link said that he would protect the great Deku Tree from anything, and raced into the hole Gohma had dug without another word. "I have not seen any magic yet. Do you mean to distract Gohma with a snack while you cast your spell?" "I have used a subtler magic than you, sorcerer. Watch." Link lit a torch in the darkness of the hole, following it deeper and deeper into the ground, until he found a pit going straight down, covered in thick spider webs. Link tried cutting through the webs, but his sword only stuck to them. He tried jumping on them, but the webs would not break under his weight. Finally, Link set his torch to the webs and they burned away. He looked down the deep, dark pit, then leapt off the edge, plummeting down and landing into a pool of water. He crawled out of the water and followed the hole Gohma had dug as quickly as he could. "So he burned through Gohma's webs. Do you mean to say that fire is the magic you are using against mine?" "As I told you, I am using a subtler power than you know." "Well, if you are not going to cast any magic, I will have to add some more." As Link was running, the ground tore open, and 3 creatures jumped out of the dirt. They were wooden heads with stubby legs, long manes of red leaves and mouths like trumpets. They spat at Link and threw themselves at him, battering the boy with their wooden bodies. "Simply making more monsters? This is hardly a new trick for you." "Oh, but I'm using a subtler magic this time," Ganondorf said as Link cut the monsters apart. But before he could run down the tunnel, their pieces came together and the 3 began attacking him again. No matter how many times Link sliced them to pieces, they would always reform and stand in his way. "What do you think of this spell? He can fight them and fight them and fight them, but unless he kills them in the right order, they will leap back to life again. A good spell, don't you think?" "A worthy one, but it is useless against the magic I have brought to this battle. Watch." Again and again, Link fought the 3 monsters until he was bloody and bruised, but finally they were cut down and did not rise. Link wasted no time and started running down the tunnel again. "I see. You simply found the luckiest boy among the Kokiri and sent him in after Gohma. Clever, but luck will not save him against my creation." Link stepped into a cave filled with mist and stone pillars. He stepped carefully through the thick fog, looking all around him as he heard a rustling sound grow louder and louder. He looked up and saw the bright green eye of Goma staring at him from the ceiling. Link jumped out of the way as the giant spider dropped to the ground with a crash, shaking the whole cave. Link swung his sword to chop off its leg, but the blade only bounced off Goma's skin. You would need a battle axe to cut through that armor. Whatever subtle magic you are using, it will fail against my monster. Goma chased Link through the cave, lunging at the boy with her fangs, getting closer and closer each time. He was slowing down, tired from the running and his injuries from the creatures. Every time he managed to hit Goma, his sword would only bounce off the spider's skin. He hid behind one of the stone pillars, holding his breath as the monster walked slowly around the room, eye darting left and right as it searched for him. An idea came to Link, and he leapt out of his hiding place and shouted at Goma. It spotted him and charged straight at him, fangs bared. Link waited until it was right in front of him, then stepped forward and plunged his sword deep into its eye. Ganondorf could not believe his eyes as Goma shrieked, staggering around the room before collapsing into a heap. What magic is this? A simple, subtle magic, the Deku Tree said as Link pulled his sword out of Goma's eye. You have the power to speak to me at a great distance, to cast a curse on me, even to make terrible monsters out of everyday creatures. But what magic do you have that could make a person do what Link did here today? The magic was not in the fire that burned the webs, but in the courage he had to make that leap. His magic would have been luck if he had killed those creatures in the correct order right away, but it was his bravery in fighting them long enough to find the right order. Your magic made Goma almost impossible to harm, but Link was willing to be harmed to save me, and that is what made him able to strike the killing blow. His courage was greater than your magic. Unless his courage can break the death curse I laid upon you, you will not see another sunrise, Ganondorf sneered, ending the spell that allowed him to speak with the great Deku Tree. Link climbed out of the hole Goma dug, and the great Deku Tree praised him. You have done well, brave one. You have slain the evil creature set upon me by the wicked man from the desert. But even though you were successful, I was doomed before you started. Do not despair, for there is much left for you to do. This sorcerer Ganondorf will stop at nothing in his search for power. Will you go forth into Hyrule to stop him? Link agreed, and asked the Deku Tree if there was anything he could do to save him. No, my final hour is drawing near. The death curse is almost finished. Go forth, and be the hero you have been here today. Link ran away from the meadow, and the old tree smiled. I may not see another sunset, Ganondorf, but this death curse you have lain upon me will rebound upon you in time.